Hello, everybody. Hi. I assume you're here because you would like to inquire the two sphinxes up here, just like ask us questions and stuff, right? That's what we're doing? Yeah? Yeah? That's what I thought. That's what it says on my badge, so imagine we're here. And if you don't know who we are, let's start with that, huh?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, hi. I'm a voice actor. That means I scream to myself in a padded room. But I voice a lot of characters
What's
across.
your name?
Oh yeah, my name is Jonah Scott. And I voice a lot of characters like Legoshi in B-Stars. I voice Tatsu the house husband in Way of the House Husband. I voice Joe in Skate the Infinity. And many more. Like my good buddy Ed Bosco said, I am your friend. So go look us up. What about you, huh? What do you do?
Hi, I'm Ben Diskin. I'm also a voice actor. I also scream at myself in a padded room. Yeah, I've done a bunch of stuff. I was Vaughn in Seven Deadly Sins, Joseph Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Part 2, Xehanort from Kingdom Hearts, and a whole bunch of other things. And yes, it's way easier to just like look us up and be like, oh, they did
I could sit
that.
there, yeah, BTDA or IMDb, what have you. If you like pictures, BTDA is good. But for the method, we have our cunning minds put together, devised a method where you will form a neat line, and there are two microphones there. You can pick one or the other. I don't think it matters. And then say your question to the class. Say your question to the audience so everybody can hear you, and you don't have to shout, and we don't have to repeat your question. So that is it moving forward. Do you want to knock some quick ones out of the way? Like, how'd you get started voice acting?
Oh, yeah.
How'd you get started voice acting, Ben?
I got started in voice acting because my parents figured that when I was a little kid and I was making noises that made my dad think the car was falling apart, that I should maybe see if I could do something with that. And so when I was a little kid, they put me in the acting industry. I was like technically a zygote. My parents got representation for me because both of them were actors when I was still developing in my mother's womb, and her agent said, when your kid is born, we'd like to represent him. So she said, okay, and they signed a contract. Voiceover stuff for me began when I was about 6. I didn't know how to read yet, but they said, hey, you can say stuff and you're a kid, so we need kids for radio commercials and stuff like that. Say this line, I love McDonald's. Fantastic. So that was really my start into it. And it took off for me because when I was about 10, I was doing various on-camera stuff, and I had just come off the experience of working with Arnold Schwarzenegger for a movie called Kindergarten Cop. I played one of the many kids in the classroom. Thank you.
Late 80s, yeah.
And it was a great experience working on set, but kids can be really mean. And I learned very quickly that you should not tell your fellow schoolmates that you do this because they get all the wrong ideas, they assume a lot of stuff about you, and then they treat you like garbage. So I went from being like, this is great, to I'm being picked on for this, and I don't like it. But voiceover, nobody recognized me, and I went, oh, holy cow. Oh, I can be an actor, and I don't have to worry about people like bothering me or being mean to me because they don't even know that I'm the guy who does that. They don't even realize that there's a person behind a microphone performing that character because they just see it's a cartoon. And so that started my path down, like kind of leaving on camera behind and just doing voiceover full time. That's how I got started in music. Jonah, what about you?
Well, I was a late bloomer when it comes to VO. I predominantly did, since I was 8, I did theater. My parents needed a daycare. And they essentially were like, you know what, this is like, it's $250 every couple of weeks. There you go into this acting class with like 25 to 30 other people. And little did my parents know that was an acting class. That wasn't like, they're gonna teach you and we're gonna do like, voice and movement things and do some crazy, make faces and make weird, no. It was an acting class, and I learned Meisner, I learned Uta Hagen, I learned Stanislavski, I learned a lot of like classic like acting literature there, and more so than I even did in college. And my parents didn't know that at the end of the year, the entire class was leading up to putting on a production every year. So every year, after I was 8 years old, I would put on a musical. I would be in some sort of theatrical production. I would do some Shakespeare. A little bit of everything. And as we got older, the themes got more mature. What we were performing was more difficult emotionally and things like that. So it was a really good way for me to grow into voice acting with a lot of people who were able to hold my hand when it comes to like normal acting, regular face acting, whatever you want to call it. But after that, I had, when you're 18, you're not allowed to take any more classes there. When you're 18, you graduate, and you're like, go ahead, go do we're done with you. We taught you everything we know, so go out into the world. And I didn't know what I wanted to do, so I sat on my butt and played League of Legends for a solid year. That was it. I was a semi-professional League of Legends player. I was pretty freaking good. I was an AD carry main. I did top and jungle off, and I carried the college team that I was on. It was pretty fun. But most of what I did over comms was not call-outs. Over comms, I would, do impressions of the characters I was playing, and I would try and sound as accurate as possible to like screw with my teammates. And in things where call-outs matter, like Apex and Valorant, stuff like that, they really did appreciate that. But it was how, after that, I would do that in public matches, right? And then we would get people over comp, be like, yeah, that was really funny, but you sounded really good. Like, you sounded legit. Like, are you the voice actor, or are you? And I'm like, no, I'm just an impressionist. I'm an actor, but I go to college, I'm doing theater. It wasn't until I played through Titanfall 2 that I realized that Titanfall 2 has a very, not necessarily emotional, but I guess you could call it emotional through line for the entire thing. The first game didn't really have too much of a story, but the second game had a lot of story to it, and the main character is voiced by Matthew Mercer, who I met for the first time a couple days ago. That was wild. But I realized that voice acting could be so much more than just, being a microtransaction skin or, being a voice pack or something like that. You can actually develop a full-fledged character and like have arcs and have emotional reasoning for everything. And it's not just like, I'm lawful good, so I'm a hero. No, there's like, when you were a kid, your parents were killed in front of, like, there's like a bunch of stuff that I didn't get out of normal acting, like larger than life things. Like I can have a sword made out of a limited beam of light. Like it's really cool. Like I can do all kinds of crazy medieval antics and things like that, and I never have to leave my closet. Didn't realize that was a thing. So I did that in college for about a year, and then I was working at a deli at that time and making some awesome sandwiches. And I was making more money voice acting than I was working in the deli. And at that moment, I was just like, okay, I gotta try this. I gotta figure out how to do this. And when I say I made more money doing voice acting, I didn't make a whole lot of money. It was more than I was making, minimum wage 9 to 5. And so I told my parents, I'm like, I'm gonna, finish college and I'm gonna graduate and we're gonna move to LA. And I had $200 in my pocket and a suitcase full of clothes. And I slept on my friend Jalen Cassell's floor, who wrote, he's still writing, I think, JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. No, his partner's writing it, but he's an amazing voice actor as well. But I slept on his floor for a year, and he essentially taught me how to dub anime. He was a huge anime fan before I moved, but he taught me the process. He taught me, from start to finish, how do you write a script for anime? How do you read a script for anime? There's a lot of little mechanical nuances that they don't teach you in theatrical like acting school. So. And then I started working a little bit more. People roll dice on me because that's really what it is. You gotta catch somebody's ear, and then they have to give you a chance. And then once they give you a chance, then other people start to hear you, and then the snowball begins to roll, and you start to develop a career itself, right? But that's my long and short, mostly long. So question time. Yeah, we got the nitty gritty out of the way. Now you can ask the fun stuff.
Raise your hand if you have, or just come on up.
Or just come on up, yeah, there you go. Submit yourself to the altar.
Is it on? Is this thing on?
There you go, yeah.
Okay, I have a question for Jonah and a question for Ben.
Sure.
Jonah, I wouldn't have come up with a question unless I seen it on your Twitter. What's your favorite Kamen Rider series?
It's my favorite Kamen Rider build. Is my favorite. I finished that, let's see, 6 months ago, something like that. And boy, howdy, is it wild. I wanted a. If nobody's seen Kamen Rider, it's great. It's like Power Rangers without Power Rangers. You get the Super Sentai stuff, but it's like anime. It feels very Power Rangers without the like monster of the week plot. And yeah, I love Kamen Rider build.
And Ben, I'm probably going to give you some kind of flashbacks, and I apologize for in advance, but if you got to call up to reprise the role of Humphrey, would you do it?
So I am a professional actor, and that means I need to make money. So, yeah.
Yeah, the answer to that is yes.
Yeah.
Almost always.
And actually, with enthusiasm, because honestly, those movies are terrible, but they're really fun. Everybody who works on it knows it. It's not like I'm not offending.
That's the best kind.
Anybody. Oh yeah, it's great.
Everybody knows something you're making isn't going to be like 100%. They're just like, let's just make this funny.
Yeah,
let's just make this funny and make it fun.
All hail the Blue God.
Thank you for the question.
Hi. So I was wondering, because I know with Jonah, you use kind of the same area of your voice range for most of your characters. And I'm not super familiar with your work, Ben, but I was wondering if there's a specific part of your voice range, or maybe a specific voice that you have in mind that you would really like to use for a character sometime in the future?
Yeah, my speaking voice. I most of my stuff is like actually lower than my speaking voice. And if you ever come to my streams, you'll know that my speaking voice is like a tenor, maybe baritone, but it's mostly tenor. And I have a fairly high-pitched voice, all things considered. And I'd like to use that. I'd like to use that. I've been put in the like Big Brother box, and I love the Big Brother box because the Big Brothers are really cool. They're the coolest people. But sometimes you want to jump out. Like my friend Kellen Goff gets put into the monster box a lot. And the monster box is fun, and I love the monster box, and I'm sure Kellen does too. But sometimes you want to jump out of the monster box, and you want to do. He got the wonderful opportunity to play a romantic lead in the past year, and that was the highlight of his career. So I really like to play, maybe a quirky sidekick. I'd like to play, something that I have a lot of voices that I use in D&D when I DM, and a lot of those are like goblins and gnomes and people with super high-pitched voices, and if you slap an accent on that, it becomes way more immersive. It becomes way more real and true. So I've only gotten to, that's another thing too, accents. I'm pretty good with accents. I did a couple of years of accent coaching in college, and I have a pretty wide, in northern, I can do a lot of Northern Europe, I can do a lot of America, I can do a lot of Russia, Italy, all over the place. But matter of fact, I think I just got a gig for an accent a couple of minutes ago, which is great. But yeah, so accents, and then maybe something in my higher register. But I do love playing the bad guys. I do love playing the big brothers, and I would play them. I will play them until I die. I'll take any role like that. It's so much fun.
Oh.
It goes for you too.
I'm the opposite. I'm the guy who likes doing everything but my regular speaking voice at all times. I think my voice is kind of annoying. Just me. I gotta live with it. Not a fan. When I was a kid, because I did voice acting as a child, you get put into the child box, right? Which is like, oh, you are a real kid. You sound like a real kid. Oh, you can do voices this cute, sweetheart. Do your regular voice. And after a certain point, I was like, no. I want to do characters. And so I basically dedicated my adult career to stretching my vocal range as far as I possibly could. Because I want to play
little itty bitty tiny creatures that sound silly.
and big, booming, powerful ones. And push it and pull in all different directions. So for me, it's not necessarily about being able to have a wide range. It's about being able to play a wide variety of characters.
Yeah, that's something that I'm not good at yet. That's something that I'm actively working on, and it is a skill, as you can see. It's a very technical and mechanical skill, as a matter of fact. So I'm impressed with that.
Well, I really hope that you'll end up getting to do that.
Thank you. That's very sweet.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Thank
I
you
do
for
too.
answering my question.
Of course, of course.
Hi. I guess this is a question for both of you. I wanted to ask Jonah what his favorite musical was, because I'm a theater kid too.
Oh, my favorite musical. Oh boy, I like musical comedies. So I'm a fan of like Spamalot. I'm a fan of Avenue Q. I'm a fan of a bunch of like really in-your-face, abrupt, like Book of Mormon. You know, really, really kind of things you shouldn't listen with the kids around. But for more traditional things, obviously Into the Woods is a huge thing. I played the wolf in Into the Woods. Hello. But let's see, what else? I also I did opera for a year. We did an opera, Pirates of Penzance, and I was the lead tenor in that, and it was so much fun because he is the Frederick, the lead tenor, the character is the epitome of the reluctant hero, but he's reluctant because he's an idiot, and it's not because he doesn't want to do everything. He's been the plot of Pirates of Penzance is. So Frederick turns 18, and because of that, he is no longer allowed to be a pirate. He has to go out and do his own thing for a few years. He has to have a Rumspringen, he has to come back and tell them about the world and things like that. So for 18 years, he's never seen outside of a pirate ship. And because of that, he's never seen what an attractive woman looks like. He's never seen what like good food looks like or tastes like. So the entire thing is him discovering the outside world, and then at the end, him realizing like, oh my God, I don't want to be a pirate. I don't want to be stuck on this ship. I want to go and get married and have kids and have an uncle. So yeah, I like operas because you can sing everything. You don't have to memorize lines, it's just lyrics.
And I guess the question for both you and Ben is, which character that you voiced do you feel like you're most alike? I guess like big differences between your characters and big similarities? Does that make sense?
Yeah. Okay. I guess maybe it was just because he was one of my like first leads, but Legoshi has a lot of me in him for many reasons. Joe does as well. He's got a lot of me in him, but I think the one that has the most of me in him is Aiden Caldwell, Dying Light 2, because I worked on that game for 6 years, and while working on that game, I helped guide the story, I helped guide the character development. They were basically building the character around me, as they took my headshots, and they didn't want to pay a likeness fee, but they took my headshots and made the character look like me, and like all of his lines and his behaviors and everything are kind of modeled after my speaking pattern, you know, with a little bit of like, you know, heroic baritone in there. But yeah, he's the most emotion I've ever put in a performance is in that video game. Please, if you haven't played Dying Light 2, please do. Just for me. Please, just for me. Thank you. Yeah.
For me, the character I'm probably most alike, or that I guess put the most into, is probably Haida from Agretzko. That is me to a T from like my early to mid 20s, faults and all. So like that's one of those things where like every session is for me a giant oh god cringe fest. Because I'm like, I know what that is. Oh yeah. Oh, I've been there. Oh god. Yeah, I think the characters I enjoy the most are the ones that are nothing like me. I played Venom on Spectacular Spider-Man. He's just this rage-based, you know, person who sees betrayal everywhere he goes and like is this paranoid, angry, muscular guy. And I'm like, I'm not that at all. And I like the fact that I can go, you know what, I'm gonna take a break from Ben and go spend some time in this other person's world and all of the, you know, times I sit in traffic and I'm really mad, I just pour that right into that one.
There you go.
And I go, there you go. And they go, wow, you sound so mad. And you go, Ben, you're stumbling around. I'm like, yeah, sorry, I lost the ability to see when I was trying to put a lot of anger into this line. Sorry. They're like, okay, it's good, it sounded good. Like, thanks.
Blind rage.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Really worked through some stuff.
Thank you. Good question.
Thank you.
Hi. So first of all, it's an honor to meet both of you, so thank you for being here.
Thank you.
This question is for both of you, in case there's any maybe aspiring voice actors in the room. Do either of you have any special like vocal warm-ups or rituals you like to do before you get in the recording booth? And secondly, is there anything special you do when you know you have to record something particularly intense, like an emotional or angry scene?
There was a period of like 3 or 4 months last year where I would be driving down to Santa Monica, and that's about a 45-minute drive in the morning at like 9 a.m. And that's really early for your voice, right? So it'd be 9 to 1 was the session, and I'd be in traffic for about an hour. So I would sing musicals in the car. I was a big fan of like Beastie Boys in that. It was my big Beastie Boys era, so I would rap the Beastie Boys in the car. Anything that like gets you to project from your diaphragm really is great, and not sitting like what I'm doing right now, like sitting on your chords and just letting like the chords do the work. Letting the air do the work is really, really helpful for warming up. But anything you learn in theater class is definitely beneficial. There's no secret sauce or anything, I don't think.
Yeah, for me, oh wow, this is what it's like to have a working mic. Oh, there we go. I thought I was going crazy. I'm like, wow, I can hear him crystal clear. I can't hear myself at all. Okay, yeah, for me, what I do to warm up, it's more of a timing thing. So, like, for instance, if I know I have to play, like, a really rough character and it's in the morning, I don't warm up at all because I want to go in there with, like, all the gunk still stuck in there and go, like, oh, yeah, I'm just going to let it all out. Because if I warm up, then I go in there and all of a sudden it's like I'm stripping the pipes, basically. But for warm-ups, I will usually have, like, much like Jonah, some sort of song that I like to sing along to on the way to work. Because the windows are rolled up and nobody can hear me, hopefully, on the freeway. I guess technique-wise, something that just sort of goes through the different parts of your throat. So most of my stuff is always down here. That's where a lot of the phlegm was. So a lot of the sounds. And basically just sort of build it up until you've kind of cleaned out the whole instrument, and then you're ready to go. So some people will have a very specific thing they do. Some of it is like, what do you do? It's like warm-ups for the lips.
For the organs.
Yeah, I don't really do that. I drink a lot of coffee.
Yeah, that's another thing. Coffee, you'll learn over the past couple of years, because I'm going to be honest, I've only really been doing this professionally for about 2.5 years. But over those years of waking up and knowing that I'm going to have sessions, the entire week, right? You become a lot more in tune with your instrument. You become a lot more conscious of what you drink, like coffee in the morning. I love caffeine. I love it in any way, shape, or form I can get it into my body. But it really tightens up the chords if you put a lot on at once. So what I have learned is, you drink your coffee as you eat breakfast, so it kind of spreads out, like the caffeine is not all the way in your system all at once. It's not. It tightens. It's a vasoconstrictor, so it tightens your blood vessels. There's blood vessels in your vocal cords, so it'll constrict all of that and make it really difficult to make. Make those like really deep, bassy things. But if I've noticed if I'm doing something in my normal voice or if I'm doing something in like a mid voice, it doesn't really affect it too much. In fact, it might even help. Be careful what you drink. Stay away from dairy. Milk is really bad. Stay away from dairy and I guess like soda. Soda's kind of not fun. Room temperature water is your friend.
That's true.
Room temp is great.
Yeah, we drink a lot of water when we're working, just constantly. Keep in mind, everybody's body is different. I know some people who will eat potato chips and it clears everything out. That's insane. Other people would be like, I swear by green apples. You eat them, all the clicks go away. And other people are like, they just bring more clicks.
Yeah.
For you. So everybody is different. So it's just figure out what works.
Yes. Learn your body, learn your instrument.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you.
Hello.
Hello.
My question is for both of you. Was there ever a role that you both had that you would honestly wish that you could have done a lot better?
Wow. Everything. Yeah. As an actor, watching your stuff is maybe the first time it was like, oh wow, I'm on TV. But like the second or third time, it's like, oh, they picked that one? Oh god. Oh man, they went with that thing? Okay. So Yeah, all of them. There's a lot. If I could go back into the booth, even like season 1 of Beastars, there are some things where I'm like, that was like poorly written, or that didn't come out of my mouth the right way, or the things that I was too nervous to say in the booth or something like that. Yes, all of them. In some way, I would like to go back and do maybe 1 or 2 lines from each character.
We are all our own harshest critic. It goes double when you have to like watch yourself on TV.
Yeah, fair enough. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh,
Hello.
so Jonah, when it came to doing Dying Light 2,
Yeah.
have you ever met Roger Smith?
I haven't met Roger Craig Smith in person, but I have had correspondence with him through people who have been at conventions and things that he's been at, because I think he lives in Idaho at this point now. He's moved to Idaho. Because he does astrophotography, like deep space astrophotography that is gorgeous. But that's beside the point. I have never met him in person, but he did come. A lot of people say that Aiden sounds like Roger from the first game. That at the beginning is intentional. That was like a conversation that we had with the story guys. And then as Aiden develops his character through the story, he grows into his own voice, and he becomes his own kind of character. And by the end, he sounds completely different than he does in the beginning, because he's a different character. But Roger was really cool about it. He was very cool about it, because people weren't picking on me online, but there's a lot of people know the voiceover industry, but there are a lot of people that don't. And, they know like maybe 3 or 4 different voice actors, right? Troy Baker, Roger Craig Smith, Matthew Mercer. That's about it, right? So you can throw a dart and hit one of them, and that's your guess, right? So a lot of people online were guessing that it was somebody not me, which is understandable, because what else have I done, right? And Roger was like, no, guys, what do you know? He's really cool. Like, it's this guy. It's not me. It's this guy. He tweeted on his own account of his own accord. I didn't ask him to do any of that stuff. He added Techland, and he's like, I'm not in this game anywhere. So it's him. It's 100% this guy, and he's cool. So I have to thank Roger, because he was really, really cool about people just adding him constantly about this game.
Okay, so Ben, when it comes to you doing Venom for the MCU, have you ever wanted to try out being in one of their live actions?
Okay, first of
Ben
all,
for Reed Richards.
Oh, you mean like? Oh, did you mean like as Venom in that? Because I mean like, I'd have to put on a lot of muscle.
Well,
I'm not
no,
gonna-
just
Get Bill to help me.
just any kind of MCU character you think you would fit.
I feel like I would just fit like reporter A who gets stepped on by a monster. I don't really picture myself as a superhero kind of guy. So I mean, sure, I wouldn't say no, but like I would probably prefer, oddly enough, to be random guy who gets stepped on rather than main character, because like on camera is fun, but it is a lot of work, and it's a huge time commitment.
Very tiring.
So it's like I wouldn't be able to do all the voiceover stuff that I wanted to if I was on set. And I love voiceover so much that I feel like kind of bad. So like I feel like, oh man, I could be a cartoon guy right now.
Yeah, I could be in a cartoon right now. That was another thing that I had. I did a live action show that was filmed in Europe, and I flew out there, and I was, since it wasn't SAG, because they don't have the Screen Actors Guild in Europe. They have their own things. It was a European production. So I was on set for 25 plus hours, and I didn't really have any recourse because it wasn't a union thing, and I'm not a member of this union. And it was grueling. It was intense. I was needed on set every 10 minutes. I didn't know my lines immediately because they had to be translated. But yeah, live action is a lot to pay attention to, a lot at once, and it's a lot of time. It's like rehearsal, but every day, all the time.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, man.
All right. Jonah, we already met at Anime Magic. I
Oh,
was drag Adam.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, I saw that picture. You look great, by the way.
Thanks. I'll be seeing you again at Anime Magic this year.
Yeah, we're gonna get there's a booth out there. We're at Anime Magic this year.
All right. So, question for Ben first. I know you're in K Project. So, personally for you, Would you pick red or blue?
One more time?
Red or blue?
Oh, red. Wait. For me personally,
Yeah.
as a person, I'm probably more blue. I'll be
Okay.
honest. Like I like the red team for obvious reasons. I recognize.
Represent.
But yeah, like the guys who are very logical and all like order based, I feel like I would wind up like getting along with them better, but up to a point. Because at a certain point, I'd be like, you guys are really, you can take the rod out a little bit. But like, I prefer that to like complete and total chaos, which I feel is like all red all the time.
Okay, thank you. And then for the question for both of you, now I know you're both in B-stars, but take that out of the equation. Take one of your characters each, and like, who would you want to see with each other? Like, you would pick a different character and you would pick a character, and who would you want to see hang out with each other and stuff?
Like looking at my prints, like which one? I play a lot of the Big Brother characters, and you play a lot of the Little Brother characters.
Sure. Yeah.
I feel like maybe putting two of those people together would be pretty cool.
Yeah, okay.
Like Randy or somebody, Randy Orlando from Trails. He's like the ultimate Big Brother. You got Joe, he's a little more daddy, I guess. Sniper Mask is Big Brother, like 100%, just because he's like babysitting the entire show. But yeah, I put the Big Brother and Little Brother together.
All right. What would you want them to do together?
Oh my gosh, it depends on which one. Joe would teach him how to kickflip, which is hard to do, take a couple days. Randy would teach him how to shoot a gun. Sniper Mask would teach him how to shoot a gun. Tatsu would probably teach him how to make a gun. I don't know, maybe shoot a gun, but yeah.
What about your
My
character?
younger brother character would have been like number 1 or number 2 from Kids Next Door. So he would just beat the living daylights out of him because he's an adult. So that's wonderful.
He's fire off.
Well, okay then. Thank you.
That's a good question, thank you.
I have a question for both of you. If you could choose one of the others' characters to voice act, which character would it be?
I like what Jonah does. I wouldn't pick
Thank you,
him.
Ben. Thank you. Yeah, I like what Ben does. I auditioned for a few of the characters that he has, but I was like, after I listened to the voice and the thing, I'm like, yeah, that's exactly how I'm hearing it. You know, there are a few characters in fiction that I would really, really like to play. Like Vincent Valentine is a big one for me. That's a bucket list character. Cal Kakuri was a bucket list character too. But yeah, I don't want to envy my friends. Honestly, my friends' work because they knock it out of the park every time. All of my friends are so good at what they do.
Hi. Sorry, I'm a little nervous.
No.
This is mostly for Ben. So I'm playing through Tales of Berseria right now. And I'm having a really fun time. You play Rokuro?
Yes.
I wanted to ask, so you play TV and video game, and Tales of Berseria is super long. So I was just wondering how you feel about like a longer game and you have to talk a lot more, it seems like, between a video game and a show?
Oh, well, let's see. So for any kind of JRPG,
Yeah.
tons of dialogue, especially if you're one of the playable characters. They need all of the battle sounds and all that stuff, and then there's all the story. I love it. It's obviously we don't tackle it all at once; that would kill us. And we don't really tend to go from beginning to end. So the weird thing about video games is that they're very much broken up into different segments. So keeping track of the character's progression through the story—that's usually the challenging part. But fortunately for us, it's mostly on the director to keep us on track and be like, all right, at this point in the game, you're really angry, but at this point in the game, you're still kind of innocent and naive. You know, so for me. I love the sort of challenge of developing the character over a long period of time, which the game really allows, because there's no limitations. It's not like it's a movie. Hey, it's 90 minutes, then we're out of here. It's hours and hours of content, getting to know the characters as you play as them and play with them, and then shows are different just because it feels more contained. But that also means you can focus a little bit better, and you can also figure out how everybody's really going to sound when everything's combined together, especially for original animation. Prior to the pandemic, everybody would record in giant groups. So it would be like me and all these other actors that were all playing off of each other, and you get that sensation of, oh, okay, I know how this is going to play together and how it's going to work. And it's like this group thing, you know, which I love the creativity of having all of those people together in one place. We don't have that so much anymore. Sometimes we do it over Zoom. Like, we can kind of like sort of see each other doing the voices, and it's like the audio quality is not very good.
And you got the delay you got to worry about.
Yeah, the delay.
Yeah.
And it's weird. You have to be your own engineer. But, yeah, both just present different types of challenges when it comes to character work. But I don't really have a preference between the two of them. I just like working.
Yeah.
It's just fun.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
You look fantastic.
Oh, thank you, thank
You're
you.
welcome, yeah.
I just want to say I'm so excited to meet you guys. Like, Beastars was like my favorite show of all time.
Thank you.
I'm so
Yeah.
excited to meet you because I can't wait to see you that well through there. All right, and my question is like, so when you guys are like find out that you get to be like get a role for whatever show, do you ever feel like a little bit of motivation or encouragement to like learn more about the series? Like, if you get like an anime role, do you feel like you should read the manga, like learn more about the world, or just like your character, how it's like portrayed in other ways?
Sometimes, yes. It really helps to do research. So if you, a lot of times for auditions, we'll like at least get to see a little bit of it. We'll have maybe a picture to work off of, and we'll be able to take that and kind of craft our auditions to better suit the character. But if possible, if I have the time, I do like being able to watch stuff. Most of the time, though, I don't. I just show up to the booth and go, all right, I wonder what's going to happen today. And sometimes they also don't have everything completed. So we will wind up, like, it's not a finished show, for instance. So we don't really know where everything's going, and even our director isn't 100% sure. So there's definitely a lot of trying to figure that out. I'm getting a phone call, that's fine. That's whatever I was saying, yes.
Yes, as much as I can. I absolutely love it. I got cast in Trails of Cold Steel a couple of years ago, and I'm a big JRPG fan. The hardest thing about being cast in a JRPG is if you're not the main character, or at least one of the main 4 or 3 or whatever, you're gonna play the game for 16 hours before you hit your character. And I have a friend who does speedruns, and I said, hey dude, could you just skip this and give me a save state that makes it so that I can introduce my stream to this character, and then we can go back and play and then get to that point. So I don't have to play for 16 hours being like, I swear I'm in this game. I swear, just give me a second. I mean, maybe 16 hours, but I swear I gotta show you this voice. So it's difficult when it comes to game media, especially JRPGs. But for anime, yeah, I sit down and I try and read the whole thing. I know what's happening in One Piece. I haven't sat down to read all the manga, but when I got cast as Katakuri, that kind of lit a fire under me to maybe go back and read a bunch of it. I'd rather read the manga than watch the show, to be honest, just because it's quicker, even though half the show is recap anyway. But yeah, I try as much as I can. I do Beastars. I read Beastars before I got cast. I was a fan of the show before I got cast. There are several properties that I voiced that I was a huge fan of before I got cast, and that's Tatsu. Oh my god, when I got the House Husband auditions, I'm like, I can't screw this up. I need to be this character. So yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a big weeb, just like everyone else. I love this stuff. This is my life.
All right, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Hello. My friend was wondering, what was it like to participate in the Tome franchise? The online.
It's Yozi's game. Yeah. Oh yeah, Yozi is a good friend of mine, and he has a habit of bringing, assembling the Avengers a lot. He has a habit of getting I'm gonna get the best of the best. I'm gonna bring everybody in. I'm gonna let everybody tack in on this. So he made Tome, and he tapped me in for in games. If you're not a major character, you'll go in and you'll record maybe 8 to 9, 10 side characters, and then some atmospheric voices. But he brought me in for that. I absolutely loved all the characters because he made me do stuff I don't normally do. He sat me down, he made me be like really shouty antagonist, he made me be, put on all kinds of various accents, and at the end I listened to all of them back to back, and it's like, after the session, and I'm like, oh my god, this is a new demo reel, like, this is incredible, like, Yosi accidentally directed a demo reel for me. But Chris is wicked talented, and he's a great guy. I have yet to play the game on stream. I promised him I would play the game on stream, and I'm going to. We need another milestone. We gotta wait for Chris to get another milestone, and then we'll play the game.
Yeah, I wasn't in the game, I did his show a while back. And yeah, he cast me as the loudmouth, really, really horrible character who just swears all the time. And I was like, oh, okay. What do you really think of me? And he's just like, no, come on, I know you can do it. Come on, Ben. He comes all upstairs.
Yeah, pushes his hair out of his face.
Yeah. But yeah, no, it was just a fun project to work on from a while ago. But yeah.
Lots of really crazy characters.
Yeah, lots of unique designs. Always interesting.
Oh, some fun side note about Tom. I donated to his Kickstarter to intentionally put a character into the game. I was like $500 or something like that, and I'm like, okay, I want to be in this game regardless. And then he came to me and he's like, I was going to cast you anyway. You didn't have to like donate. And I'm just like, because you get to design a character, right? And then just like, just make him Legoshi. Just put Legoshi in Tom. And he's like, done. So there's a character that looks eerily like Legoshi in the game, and it's supposed to.
Thank you.
Oh shit. Okay, my turn. Hi.
Hello.
My question is, what has been the most difficult role to date that you guys have both played?
Difficult, like emotionally, or?
Just difficult as in challenging.
Okay.
Role to date.
You have one of you?
I'm sorry for the horrible question.
No. I have an answer. Tatsu. If you go back and watch Way of the House Husband in English, you'll hear that about 60% of Tatsu's lines are shouted at the top of his lungs, like yelling. And it was rough. There was for the first season we developed the character so when he's talking normally he has this like low baritone that's like really sultry, and he's every single line is an action movie one-liner. And second season rolls around, and they really like me at this particular studio because I get that work done fast, and they tried to put that to the test with this second season, and they're like, okay, we're gonna do the entire season in a week. And I'm like, are you sure we are? Because I don't know about that, because I'm doing like 3 other shows right now, and Tatsu is very shouty. I went in and did the first 2 sessions. At the end of the second session, I'm like, nope, sorry, my voice is done. I'm gonna have to like either take a couple days off, or we're gonna have to like reassess or do this next week. And then my agent gets back to me and he's like, yeah, they were just trying to push you. I don't know what it is. They were just testing something. But no, you got 2 sessions next week. They're going to start spreading it out. So Tatsu was very vocally demanding at a point until they slowly started to space the sessions out, and then it became a little bit more manageable. Let's see, who else?
Nothing like a little pressure.
What?
Nothing like a little pressure.
No, yeah, nothing like a little pressure. In my opinion, I think the season two sounds just as good, if not better than season 1, but they're all a little short, like 5-minute vignettes. It's not like a full 25-minute episode. I said a week, and then he's just like, whoa, blood right in his face. What? That's the main character?
12 hours a day?
75 hours of work.
For me, I played Venom on Spectacular Spider-Man. For one of the episodes, it was 5 hours of just me, and it was all creature sounds, which is like, that's always, it can be the most vocally stressful, depending on what type of voice it is. Because like some of them are like, and that's like, that doesn't hurt. But a lot of them are, and it's just like, you're just grinding everything. And so this character has a lot of that sound in him. And by the end of it, I was like, oh, I'm sure I'm fine. This is cool. And I was like, thanks guys, great working with you. Yeah, I fought through it, I'm good. And then for the next week, my voice was destroyed. It was so bad, I went to a callback for a show called Fish Hooks, and they just sent me home. They were like, honey, no. I'm like, what do you mean? This is what he's talking about, because I couldn't even speak in my regular speaking voice. So, it would be that technically, but really any you're going to be the soldier in this video game, and now you're going to die 27,000 times. Now you're on fire. Now you're on fire holding a grenade. Now you're on fire lighting another thing on fire. Now you're falling off a cliff while on fire. Scream, scream, scream. Those are always like the really, oh god, challenging things. And then there's like emotionally challenging stuff where I'm just like, I can't do this. This really hurts. But you have to like kind of separate yourself from the character. So that might have been maybe Satoru from Erased, which is like this show about basically child murder. It's like, I mean, well, it's not about child murder, but it involves a lot of child murder. And so you're just kind of like, oh my god, this poor little kid being like hurt, and you're like, oh god, please do something. So, and my character has to be like kind of detached from it while watching all of these horrible things happen, and then trying to like step in and save the day. So
Welcome to trauma.
yeah, it's a rough series, but it's a well done thing. So like that might have been the most emotionally like taxing.
I do have to say that one of your movies when I was a kid actually kind of, I didn't say want to traumatize me, but it
Alpha
made
and
me
Omega
appreciate.
6.
Hey, you said it, not me.
It didn't traumatize me, but it made me appreciate my dad.
Oh.
Just like Dad.
Oh, thank you.
So I was, I think, in the 5th grade when I saw that. So I just want to say thank you, because it made me appreciate my dad, who was kind of a nerd. So thank you.
My pleasure.
Okay, we got about 5 minutes, so we got a
Hello.
Hey.
It's a pleasure to meet both of you.
You as well.
This is a question for both of you. I'm very curious if there is a piece of, whether it be literature such as a novel or a play or a comic, that has really like inspired you, and whether it be your voice acting career or just you as a person, just one that really spoke to you on like a deep personal level.
Oh, I'll go first.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my mother is an English teacher. She tried to get me to read hardcore to the point where I am now actively anti-book. I'm like, if there's a movie, I'll watch it. If there's a book, I will not read it. So as a result, zero literature has ever influenced me. But like the movie's based on it, totally. So that's my answer. That's why I want to go first, because I have a garbage answer.
I would say Lord of the Rings, or The Hobbit, or anything in that universe. I really like going back and I watched Lord of the Rings as a kid. Growing up, I saw them as they came out. I watched The Hobbit, and then I went back and read The Silmarillion, and that as an adult, and that was the best time to kind of read it because it was this massive dump of creativity. Huge amounts of creativity just vomited onto the page. And it's really inspired me, not only that, but like my own world building, my own content creation, my own voices and things like that. And especially the Peter Jackson cinematic universe. It formed a lot of cool stuff that I've done.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Yeah, of course, thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Was there ever a time that you thought about switching careers?
I'm only just getting started, so probably not yet. We'll see if something rough happens soon, but not yet.
When I was a kid, I wanted to be an astronaut. Then I learned you have to know science, and I went, well, that's out. So no, I've stuck with the acting thing.
I can't do anything else.
Hi, it's really nice to meet you two.
You as well.
So I have a question for Jonah.
Sure.
What was your favorite scene to record with Legoshi?
My favorite scene to record as Legoshi is the fight between, spoilers, fight between Legoshi and Riz. Because I am a huge World of Warcraft fan. The jailer right there, oh my god. A huge World of Warcraft fan. But Patrick Seitz voices Garrosh Hellscream. And that was fighting, I got to fight Garrosh Hellscream. Like, that was really cool. And that was like a mild fanboy moment for me. Just because I got to hear him in my headphones. He was using the Garrosh voice because he's a bear. And I was just, it was some of the most fun I've had recording to date. Because I just got to go, I went buck wild. Dude, you should, so good.
Ben, I'm not sure if I remember correctly, but you voiced Shiro Ogami in Brand New Animal, right?
Yes.
What was your favorite scene recording with him?
Oh gosh, from Brand New Animal. Favorite scene might be actually where he howls. Because like it has like sort of this summoning power to like kind of bring everybody, and it's for some reason, I kind of obsessed over it. And I was like, I want to make sure that the howl sounds right. And we did we did a bunch of different takes, and I listened to a bunch of wolf howls prior to doing it to try to make sure it didn't sound like some guy going, oh, woo, woo, woo. So, yeah, trying to so I kind of annoyed them a little bit by going no, my voice didn't sound right. One more. So it's probably that, oddly enough. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
Hello, nice to meet you guys.
You as well.
Hear me? Okay.
Now we
Okay,
can.
better. So, if you could choose to live a day in the life as any one of the characters that you guys have voiced, who would you choose and why?
Joe runs a restaurant, and when I was in high school, I went to culinary school for a year. I got a lot of weird things.
Made some mean egg salad sandwich.
Yeah, I made egg salad sandwich during we went and did a watch party for season 1 of B-Stars, and I made everybody egg salad sandwiches. But yeah, Joe's a chef, and he's ripped. But I'd like to maybe be a sous chef for Joe, or work in the restaurant, or be a waiter or something there, because I feel like that's pretty ideal. I would like to be around those people. Only to touch upon the hem of this garment, to quote Shakespeare.
I would pick Bond from Seven Deadly Sins because he's immortal, he's in great shape all the time, he can cook, and he has plenty of time to do whatever the heck he wants because he's going to live for eternity. Yeah.
I had a feeling you were going to pick him.
Good answer.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. Ben, how did you end up getting into character to voice Takarada in Kill la Kill?
Well, yeah, they had a specific thing they were going for, and they wanted him to sound kind of like Cat Williams, like a pimp. And my take on the character, because he's so stupid, is that he's like that guy who thinks he's cool. And so I was like, oh, it's perfect because I'm not cool. So I'll do a really crappy impression of what I think a guy who thinks he's cool would sound like, and it's going to sound even worse. So that's
even more genuine.
Yeah, really, that character is just nothing but weird jive talk, which sounds terrible coming from my mouth, and that's why it works for the character, because you're not supposed to like it very much. So yeah.
Thank you.
Good question. Thank you.
Hi.
Hey.
Question for Jonah. Are you ever going to cosplay Legoshi?
I have plans. I have somebody who's actually... Spoilers. Thanks, guys. I do have plans. I have somebody who's making a screen-accurate, bespoke Legoshi cosplay for me. I got, I live in LA. You have people that know people that know people, and they can do, that same person is also working on an Aiden cosplay for me. And I do plan to cosplay many characters, but they're expensive to get your own custom cosplay. I could do, slacks on a shirt and stuff like that. I have.
No, I hate that
Yes, I do. I do plan to, yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome, thank you.
Hello.
Hey.
If you could make an anime, what genre would it be? And what would the storyline be about?
If I could make an anime? I'm working on my own original story. It's a comic book called American Werewolf in Tokyo. And it is a cyberpunk near-future detective noir story about a guy who gets, essentially, he gets bitten by a werewolf and he doesn't know that it's a werewolf. And he is still struggling, trying to figure out how to deal with it, because it's far enough in the future that there's been contact with extraterrestrials and things like that, so there's all kinds of aliens and things. So a little bit of everything is on the table. And because of that, he doesn't know if he's been infected by a virus, he doesn't know if he's got some sort of weird alien bug in him, he doesn't know, but it's just he's a werewolf at this point. There's a lot more that goes into it, and it also connects, in some weird way, shape, or form, it connects to my VTuber, and his own comic. But yeah, I probably would turn that into an animated series. I'd love to. That'd be really neat.
For me, let's see. I came up with an idea a while ago that was about very, very inspired by Shade the Changing Man. It's this concept of a character who travels between reality and fantasy in this alternate universe where inanimate objects are alive and make up the forefront, whereas people are technically there, but they're just in the background and they can't really interact with anything. And it became the story of like demons versus angels and a bunch of weird nonsense. I still have a whole like character Bible for it somewhere at home that I haven't seen in years, but I guess it would be that.
Good question, thank you.
Hi, so can you say the most iconic line from Joe? What? That is not your mom.
What? What? That is not your mom. There you go.
And then, what college did you guys go to?
I went to Western Kentucky University. Go Hilltoppers. My mascot was literally the top of a hill. It had this big walker, like Pac-Man mouth that would open and like eat people on the football field. It was weird. He looked like he was made of red carpet. Go look him up. Look him up. It's WKU Hilltopper. It's weird.
Cal State, Los Angeles. He graduated with a degree in television and film.
Can I do another one? I don't know.
Sure, yeah. It looks like you got time.
Okay. It seems like we have time. So I wasn't here the whole time, so I'm sorry if you already answered this question. But I'm wondering, for Ben specifically, but either of you or both, what character you personally relate to the most that you voice acted?
Oh, we did.
Yeah, we did.
You did do it already?
No, that's good. We can tell you. Mine is Aiden Caldwell in Dying Light 2, just because I worked on him and the game for 6 years, and it's just that is a not insignificant portion of my life. So he has the most of my personality, physical mannerisms.
And for me, it's Haida from the Bratz.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Sorry.
Last question.
Last one.
I had a request for Ben.
Yes.
I was wondering if you could do Shotman's Rowdy Rocker.
Sure. Do you want Rowdy Rocker or Rock and Roller?
Rock and Roller.
Okay.
Hell yeah! Hell yeah!
Silver Gatoman, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gatoman, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gatoman, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.